Take two. The first one, I had to sneeze real early in the thing, and I thought I clicked it back into record, but oh, no, 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 wasn't in such luck. We missed the button, and so it did not record anything of what I did. So we're going to do it a second time. Musicians, use your inspiration while we're here in the zone of Pisces, in the land of dreams. Inspirations from across the spiritual wavelengths come settling in to say hello. Let's take a look at the chart. I'm going to have to back this chart up from where I left it because I already went through the week once. We're going to go through the week a second time. It's Monday. And the energy that I see, I look at, there's a lot of astrologers right now that are talking about the Jupiter-Uranus transit, the conjunction that's going to take place. They're gearing up for it. It's not going to happen until the middle of May. So I'm a little less inclined to jump that far ahead. I like to keep my astrology current, working on this week, so that, hey, this is now. Let's pay attention to what's going on now and trying to get ready for something that's happening months down the way. It's like, So just the general flavor looking at this chart is we can see that the moon is over there, opposite from all the planets. And all the rest of the planets are basically in this square, 90 degrees, plus or minus some degrees, but between Aquarius and Taurus, two fixed signs. We'll get into the fixed signs shortly, but initially, looking at this chart, we say that we've got the moon here today going into Libra. Good time to socialize, get together with others. Hey, that's what Libra's about, spending time with other people to compare notes. And the moon is, how do you feel about that? Different people are going to feel different ways. Some people, getting together with others, I don't know if I really need that or not. Anyway, that's the energy that's up for you if you're ready and willing to play that game. So now let's go back over here and take a look at our fixed Aquarius and fixed Taurus sandwich that has basically stepped up to the plate for this week that we're in. Actually, I think it was in last week too. And looking at the planets involved, it's going to be next week as well. So, Aquarius, the fixed sign as to how do we function in an effective enough way that what it is that we might sense is or needs to be invented, Aquarius, created in a new fashion, that is at work. And from the fixed standpoint, because fixed signs, once something is determined as it works and it's consistent, and fixity says, I'm going to tune into that because it works and, it consistently works. I'm going to trust it to such an extent that I'm not going to try and, disrupt that overtly. Things change naturally over time, but if I have something to work, I am an Aquarius, by the way. If I have something to work, I'm going to stick with it. That's the Aquarian fixity. And Aquarius is about the group energy. So if we have something that works and the group can get on board with it, then, perhaps it's something we need to, we'll refine it here and there, but let's stick with it. You can kind of say, well, how about the commercial economic factor of what life's about. That's really more the Taurus side of this equation, but I'm throwing it out there right now anyway, because, this is a square. Squares, it's a hard aspect, 90 degrees. And, to work things out in a square kind of way, it's not going to be given to you in an easy fashion. You're going to have to apply some energy to it. It doesn't mean it can't be attained. It just means that you won't be handed it on a silver platter. It says, oh, here is your opportunity. Please use it as you will. Oh, no, not. It's a square. We're not handling things in quite that way. So let's see. Let's take a look at our Taurian consideration. Taurus is value that is placed on things, on resources. It's also the connection that we have to the natural world. There is some value to what it is that the natural world represents. And looking at this square between Aquarius and Taurus, one might ask, since we have a little bit of this edginess, that square at work right there, is the group, society at large, in whatever kind of groupings you want to put it in, able to be effective in our utilization of the natural resources that are available? Are we doing a good job? Is it sustainable? These are some not minor questions, and it's a square, and that's the time that these are the kind of questions that should be surfacing. Is my Taurian resource base strong enough that I can be comfortable with the life dance? There's a Taurus idea. Let's see, and that's a fixed sign too. If I get to that point where, I can, say that my resource base is comfortable, then more power to me. Stepping back, throwing in that Aquarius larger social level of context, and looking at the, what shall we call it, at the economic scenario that is playing out on planet Earth right now, there are players in the mix who, they keep dangling this carrot out in front of us. It says, you can see that I have been able to attain a substantial level of comfort in my resource base. And if I can do it, you can too. There are some holes in that theory. And which best way to play this out? There's the scenario as it currently exists has more and more of the resource base, money, as it were, tied up in a smaller, or let's say a not large container that is controlled by not very many people. And the rest of us, which basically is 95% of humanity, basically has to live on stuff that's not sequestered away within this container. So we've basically the 95% of the planet are trying to survive on, what? A few percentages of the economic resource potential? Something out of balance in that equation? Methinks, yes, that carrot dangling out in front is basically something to keep us distracted from the reality of what is going on economically. And worth pondering now, as right here in between this Aquarius and Taurus is our Pisces dance that's underway. And I'm not going to get into, I don't get into all the aspects that are taking place during each day. If I just wanted to look at the squares, I could say, well, Mars is in square to Jupiter down here. Jupiter, how do I want to grow that resource base that I have? Mars saying, yeah, I'm going to give you the energy to do it. From the Aquarian perspective, at what level? At the group level, not necessarily at the individual level. So, what is the shared resource possibility from that? Write your own script on that. I'm not going to, delve into it. My script, I'm an Aquarius. I'm saying, yeah, the group resource base has been sequestered. We need to find a way to spread it around a little bit more copacetically so that life could be better for more people on the planet. The thing I want to focus on for this week is, see, Mercury is catching up with the Sun, which is catching up with Saturn. As we go to Tuesday, you're getting closer, 7, 8, 9 degrees of Pisces. And then we go to Wednesday, a mercurial day, by the way. Mercury catches up with the Sun, passes it, catches up with, passes it, just barely. So we have all three of these planets, the Sun, Saturn, and Mercury, all at 9 degrees of Pisces. What could that signify? We have the Sun, our vitality, let's do Pisces. Pisces is the land of the dream, the land of illusion, the land of escaping. Escaping what? Into illusion? Escaping from illusion. Illusion's in the mix. And oftentimes that's the reason why people want to escape. My version, you can just picture this. My version of the reality that I'm living in is horrible. I have hardly any economics to live by. I'm going to use what meager amount I'm able to scrape together to buy some alcohol or some drugs so that I can, dull my senses down and not have to really pay attention to this imbalance in the economic resources that are present on the planet that I have to live with. Possibility? Yeah. Another possibility is there a way that I might be able to dream up a version or a context to what it is that I am living with right now that might inspire me to actually, go out and take chances, dream up some things that will, actually facilitate meaningful change in my world. I think of the multiple opportunities back along the way. I'm talking historical here, where we reached similar circumstances where the resources of everybody were sequestered away from everybody. And we were working for the man, working for the church, working for the king to be able to make sure that they were living very well while we enslaved and made sure that that was the case because, oh, yeah, that's right. They were protecting us from what? From other kings, other religions that had different versions of life that they wanted for us to, tune into. I'm playing our Mercury right in here. Mercury, it's in its detriment because it's opposite a sign that it rules, Virgo over here. It's also in its fall because it's, the one of the factors it's also in opposition to a sign that it is exalted in, which is Virgo. That's traditional astrology, Hellenistic astrology, if you will. I don't lean into it quite as strongly as some others. I'm happy that those that do because they can play that game. Not my forte. Right now, I'm going to take our sun, our vitality, our thought processes, organized effectively, to create a dreamscape that we can live by. And then we have this other character here, the Saturn, right there in the middle. Saturn is life lessons. There's a structural component to Saturn. It is, essentially the wise elder, is my dreamscape able to tune into wise elderhood to, really dig into what it is that is coming across the screen of this dreamscape for me to, seek out the parts of that dream thing that are trying to get my attention for whatever reasons. Dreams don't, just happen haphazardly. There are meanings in dreams. And, you can buy the dream books that say, well, yeah, this means that, that means that. But if you actually confront the dream characters and ask them, why are you here? Why did you come to me in this dream sequence? And what is it that you have to teach me? What do I need to pay attention to? You will get a version of whatever that happens to be that is for you, which is way more than you're going to be able to glean from some book idea of where that might take. Yes, there are, broad paintbrushes that are used in those books, but you need to be specific to yourself. There's that Saturn playing right there in this thing saying, is it practical? Anyway, all these planets coming together there at 9 degrees of Pisces. I'm going to share with you the Sabian symbol from Dane Ridger's An Astrological Mandala for this particular degree of the zodiac and how we might be inclined to, see where that fits into our own dreamscape. Does our dreamscape give us, insight into the mystic side of life? Are there essences of poetry that might be trying to, leak through our dreams? Are the muses giving you songs that you must perform, investigate? This is the land of Pisces, the spiritual realm. The Sabian symbol is an aviator pursues his journey flying through ground obscuring clouds. Now, doesn't that sound a little bit exciting? And here we have the sun It really wants to have a vision. Saturn is saying, I'm going to make it a challenge for you. And Mercury says, oh, God, what do I want to think about this? The keynote, and I'm going to just read it the way it is, but man or woman, masculine and feminine, we all are playing in this game. Man's ability to develop powers and skills which, by transcending natural limitations, allow him to operate in mental, spiritual realms. Further words about this particular Sabian degree. This symbol, in a sense, synthesizes the implications of the four preceding ones: the dedication to the community of men, present and future, self-assertion, and the ambition to reach a social goal. Man is seen mastering difficulties implied in a type of operation transcending his organic limitations and the narrow boundaries of a localized living space. He does so as an individual in command of powerful energies, but also as heir to the industry of countless inventors and managers. Airplanes didn't just happen. It's not the Icarus thing flying too close to the sun, after all. So this is the last symbol of the 68th five-fold sequence of evolving stages of consciousness and human activity. It evokes the achievement of mastery. And since we're talking here about the final sign of the zodiac, the process, the cauldron, if you were, of swirling substance that is Pisces, we throw some dreams into that. We throw some things into this cauldron. Part of the process that Pisces represents is the refabrication or the creation of a new seed element that is, refined and refined and refined to be planted into the next new moment, which is Aries, 0 degrees Aries, that we have been working on. We've been allowing our dreams to invent. We have those songs. The muses have been busy, spinning versions of music within the ethers to pay attention to. Those things that, have gotten you to this Pisces realm that are no longer relevant. It's time to release. Allow them to, be reintegrated into the matrix of the natural elements, to be reformulated into something that can be born anew. This is like what we're doing here in this Piscean realm. We're allowing our spiritual level of awareness to spin a tale, tell a story that, we haven't actually finished. That's the adventure of the dream. We're being invited into new territory all the time. But in order to actually be there, we have to let go of some of the previous versions of ourselves that aren't going to fit in that territory. It's new territory, after all. You don't put new wine into old bottles. This is essentially that Piscean level of spiritual growth that we're all invited to partake of. Go deep, my friends. It's the deepest sign of the zodiac. I'm thinking that that's all I'm going to do with this particular chart for this particular week. That's the energy to pay attention to. If we go through the week, we get to the end of the week and we end this week with the moon not out of bounds, by the way, but in its waning square to the sun. Crisis in consciousness, as Dane Rogers used to call it, is a weighing, from a conscious level. Has the journey that I've been on in this particular lunar cycle, which began back in Aquarius at the new moon, that has been effective? Have I lost my path somewhere along the way? Or, has it been, what I had intended? These are the versions of every lunar cycle that we go through. And we reach that final square, and it's just kind of like, did I make a mistake anywhere along the way? You can kind of picture those conscious thoughts now, trying to determine, was I appropriate? Did I take a right turn when I should have taken a left? That final square of the moon is like weighing it out. Am I on the right path? And beginning the cycle of, I am now contemplating the approach, since it's the moon, going to be going through 3 signs. So about 8-9 days, maybe. Getting ready for the shift. Letting go of those things that are no longer relevant, so that I can formulate that new seed that I'm going to plant at the next new moon. Okay, kids, that's all I've got for this week. Hopefully we got it all recorded appropriately, and we'll formulate it, format it, put it together into something that we can live with. And ciao for now.